As of right now, we have Apex starting today, which is probably one of the biggest video game tournaments of the year so far, even though the year has just started. It is by far one of the biggest Melee tournaments to happen, with over 1,000 entrants for the Melee singles, which is crazy to even imagine. And we do have Evo to look forward to later. We have MLG. But other than just Melee, which being a big, massive tournament, attracting huge numbers, the same kind of goes for Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. This is one of the biggest tournaments to happen since Worlds. We have had some regionals happen since then, and a lot of people have been hyped for VGC ever since this past Worlds, how we saw Sejun Park win, and a lot of people ever since ORAS. And I've noticed everybody's getting more VGC. A lot of the VGC veterans are coming out, and they're, everybody's everyone's giving their tips. Everybody's coming out there. Everybody's just being a part of a big VGC scene after we just see what it's done in the past. And VGC hasn't been around since like Pokemon originally started way back when. It's only been around a few, handful of years. I would have to say 08 or 09 off the top of my head. Sorry if I messed that up. But it does take time for these tournaments to come about, or a scene to come about. Look at Melee. It started in 2001 and didn't really pick up till about 2004, 5, 6, and then died off, and then picked up again a few years after that. So you can see how scenes and big tournaments and things like that of nature just shift, go up and down. But for Pokemon, it's been on a really good slope. It's only gone up. The Pokemon tournaments funded by Pokemon, they've only gotten bigger and better, like the Worlds and the Nationals. Those things only got bigger. The only difference is that Apex is a grassroots tournament, which is just, Apex being a regular non-Pokemon organization just funding a tournament or holding the tournament. And the prize pool is funded by the entrance, the amount of entrants, and it'll be the cash prize of what you get. Unlike in the regular Worlds Nationals, you would just get, say, a scholarship win or just regular other prizes, which, don't get me wrong, those are good prizes to have. But there are those people, they want to win the actual cash money prize, and they want to have a big prize pool. And seeing Melee getting at least a $50,000, or it's about total $50,000 for all of Apex, and then the Melee singles first place can around $7,000. That is a lot of money just for one. Used to be small tournament, it's just gotten bigger. Last year, Pokemon X and Y made it like it had a VGC tournament going. The top prize was about, I would say, $200, which was still good. This year, for Apex 2015, it's so far up to $1,030 total. First prize taking about $400, which is great, and there is still room for that to grow, because there will be some, still some room for entrance at the door. So we could see the prize pool increasing as the tournament happens. So, but that's just pre-registration. So that's good to see. Pokemon has grown from last year. That's already, check off, good thing. What would be great to see is after Apex, it's opening the door for just bigger VGC tournaments outside of Pokemon control station, like Pokemon tournaments. We'll see more grassroots tourneys, people holding other tournaments for Pokemon, attracting a lot of competitors, bigger prize pools, bigger names, things of that nature, which would be great to see. Don't get me wrong, Worlds also would be the pinnacle. It would be the height of like winning Pokemon. If you win Worlds, it's like you're the best, obviously, winning Worlds. But winning these other smaller grassroots tournaments outside of Worlds and Nationals and Regionals would be great to pick up some, I guess a good amount of cash. You could still, and at the same time, you would still meet a good amount of people like you would meet at a regional. You're still in the same scene. You're still playing the same game, same, culture, nature, environment. It's great. So another great thing about this year at Apex, even though the prize pool, from the surface, from an outsider perspective, it isn't that great. Like I said, it's only $1,000. That for a regular game, that isn't the biggest. Unlike Melee, where it's it's just completely stacked up. But it is one of the biggest grassroots tournaments for Pokemon as a prize pool, and it could get bigger in the next year, coming years, and later tournaments, which would be great. But this is the most we've seen so far, and it has attracted big names in the VGC scene. We have people like Michael Lozano, Tristan Medine, Chupa Cross, Tiago Maltez, last year's winner Armin Tumanang, if I'm saying that right, and we have Aaron Cybertron Zhang also make appearance along with other big YouTubers like Shay Penguin Shofu, and that's good for them to show up because they will attract their fans and people see, oh, they're going, okay, we're going to go too. And we see just a lot more people come in, so we have a stacked competition with, in terms of talent, in terms of VGC veterans and big names in the VGC scene, which is good to see because now if you see all the big names coming in, there's just going to be other people following. So it's going to grow the community, grow the scene of VGC, get the name more out there. If you see a lot of people, famous people playing, those other people will follow. It's like, oh, I want to do what that guy's doing, which is great. I even had a chance to talk to Cybertron about this, and when he thought about Apex, he said it's a great tournament, but it will take some time for tournaments to kind of get up to the level where Smash is at. Like I said, it took Smash a long time to get where it is now, where we have the we have like the tens of $1,000 prizes. Pokemon's not there just yet, but it could get there in time. There are the tournaments sometimes like these to draw bigger tournaments, bigger prize pools, could just, be because there isn't a lot of exposure. This year, Apex is being streamed. That is great. A lot of people from stream watching Melee could watch the VGC, and then we'll see new fans come in, new newcomers, which would be great. People can take more initiative after seeing this. They can maybe try to hold their own tournaments. We've seen in the past Melee, people see, oh, these Melee tournaments are fun. We're going to make our own tournament in the school, and oh, look, 100 people showed up. What about in Pokemon for local LAN centers, things like that? I've been a part of just a regular LAN center holding a Pokemon tournament. We all follow the VGC rules. Boom. That was it, and we all put in for a prize pool. So if we see a lot of people see Apex, they're like, you know what, we're going to do this too. We're going to hold our own tournaments. And then we see a lot, and once a lot of people notice there are a lot of tournaments being created, started, they're on forums, they're like, oh, here's this tournament, go sign up, oh, look at this online tournament, here's the prize pool for this, people are going to enter. And then if we see a lot of tournaments come up, then the big names, maybe like MLG or Evo, they'll see, well, I see there are a lot of tournaments going on. They will attract big names. As we already said, Apex is attracting a lot of big names. As long as they attract a lot of competitors, and we set the entrance fee at this amount, and people do, we get a lot of base entries, then we'll actually be able to hold it, and then throw in our own prize amounts, like a bonus, onto that. Then that will just, boom, put it into the mainstream. So right now, VGC, I wouldn't say it's in the mainstream, but it's on like it's on the outer part where we could see in a few more tournaments like Apex, it could just jump into a new just era of like, okay, VGC, it's not just the Pokemon owned company where it's just worlds, regionals, nationals. It's not just like Pokemon will control it, because yes, Pokemon is a big company. It is hard to compete with them, but they're, as I said, not holding the actual cash prizes that people might want. And if you get enough people to join in on the VGC to make those teams, to start following the scene and following the movement, we'll actually see a lot of great things happen. It all take time. Will just take a lot of people, and it will get up to the mainstream, higher amount of level games. And who knows, we'll maybe even see a lot of people become veterans, like how we see the VGC, like veterans from like the regionals and the worlds and nationals jump in to become veterans of the grassroots part. I would have to say that would be something interesting to see. Like, oh, this guy, he's won this tournament, this tournament, this tournament. But what's he done in the Worlds? Well, who knows, because he is more interested in these grassroots tourneys, which is also fine to see, because a lot of mature people might be into that because they could travel. They're not locked in with their parent or guardian, because they're not kids, obviously, because a lot of kids do come to these Pokemon tournaments because yes, their parents get to drive them. They have their own division, and also the regular Pokemon tournaments do have the TCG and other things of that nature. But just to see regular doubles VGC Pokemon tournaments from just the DS, the game, and people just want to win cash prizes. That's it. It could be simple, but it could turn into something bigger. I could see Apex after, if we get a good turnout, if we get a bigger prize pool at the door, people showing up, and we get a better turnout, we could see a lot of people, if they just stream it more, if they get the word out more people join in, on like online tournaments and other like local LAN tournaments, anything like that. We could see it become just a huge thing, and I would like to see, the scene grow more, because we all love Pokemon, as we know, as like what Melee turned into. A lot of people like, you know what, I've always loved Pokemon. I couldn't get into Melee. I just wish Pokemon was like Melee. So if we all just take the initiative, we try, and just and we just lead by example, we could see Pokemon could turn into Melee. It's just all going to take just a little bit matter of time and patience and a lot of effort, and more importantly, just a lot of fun.